thing, make sure you're thinking good thoughts. This is a thing that Native Americans, they do when they have issues in their, when they're having emotional issues and they need emotional strength. They go to sage and they, it'll help give them some emotional strength.
Hold on. I need a lot today.
And the reason why I had everyone do that is because I am here today to talk to you about Christopher Columbus. And every single one of you who have done that today, if Christopher Columbus was still alive, everyone would be dead. Because he participated in a Native American, non-Christian act. Yes, everyone, you can sit now. Thank you.
Very attentive audience, thank you.
My main points to convey to you today are that what he did to the Native Americans was completely wrong, and it was completely harmful and almost extinguished the Native American race. Also, the actions that he did.
Hey, question. I just started thinking of something, Skylar, not to interrupt. Is there a way you can shut that off? Because if that smoke alarm goes off, all hell's going to break loose in the high school.
Can someone run this outside?
Could you run a little, just
Yeah.
with water? Yeah, if we do that. I just, looking at that, I can't believe I just thought about it. All of a sudden sprinklers start going off and stuff. I don't know. I never thought about that before.
Okay.
Cool.
And his actions were further used to oppress the Native Americans through boarding schools, and there was internment camps that were going, which, in my opinion, and many other Native Americans' opinions, and even non-Native Americans, think that Columbus is equal to Hitler. History always repeats itself. If there's no control and the United States is taken over, you can expect us being one of the top nations in the world. Someone's going to come over here and someone's going to put us through what happened in the past. What Columbus did to Native Americans was completely wrong. Columbus was a genocidal maniac. He almost extinguished an entire culture of race and language. There are very few fluent speakers that are still here, that are still around, that still speak the Native American language. There are some tribes that don't even have any fluent speakers to speak their language, that their language is extinct. There are many different languages, but the Native American language is almost extinct. This picture here, according to the Canary effect, as you can see, there's a hand right here and a man about to chop off another man's hand. These are Columbus's men to the Native Americans. They would cut off their noses and their hands to show that they need to bring him gold. If they don't bring him enough gold, then that's what happens to them. Babies will be taken from the mother's breast. The suckling, eating, will be taken by their ankles and thrown against rocks. That's what his men did. This says Columbus used his religion as justification for putting an end to the Native Americans. This means that the 12, they would kill the Native Americans by 13. The 12 apostles and Jesus. That's how he used his justification. he would say, since you're not going to participate in my religion, you're not going to conform to what I want you to do, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to make you suffer, and not because you're not following what I follow. He was really hardcore about what his beliefs were, and he pushed them onto others. Go ahead. The estimated Native American population around 1492 was between 13 and 15 million. Now it's less than 2% of the Native American American population today. That means that since then, there's been tribes that have been completely wiped out. When Columbus came here, he moved tribes from where they originally were. On the east coast where he came, he moved them inland, and from doing that, they weren't able to practice their way of life anymore. They weren't able to sustain that life anymore, and because of that, they died. Christopher Columbus, as I said earlier, is equal to Adolf Hitler. Hitler, according to the Canary Effect, which is a documentary, he took Columbus's ideas and actions, what he did to the Native Americans, and put them to the Jewish people, which everyone knows about today. But nobody knows about what Christopher Columbus did to the Native Americans to help inspire Hitler to do what he did to the Jewish people, which he almost wiped out race, religion, all of that stuff that happened to the Jewish. As I'm pretty sure most of you are informed, because in classes they teach that, and if you're not, then I'm sorry. What happened because of Christopher Columbus, the further actions that took place, there was boarding schools, and then also an extinction of culture, and then internment camps, and as everyone knows, there are reservations, reservated lands that Native Americans were forced onto. Native Americans were nomads, and they would move place to place. They wouldn't stay somewhere too long because they would use up those resources, and that wasn't part of their beliefs. I personally have a great-grandmother on both sides of my family who have experienced boarding schools. They were taken away from their family between 2 and 5 years old and put into here. They didn't know any other language but their own. They were beat if they spoke their language. They were beat if they sang the songs that were taught to them when they were young. And then when they were sent back to their community, everyone there still spoke the Native American language, so they were no longer able to communicate, learn their culture anymore. And that's what the government wanted to do to extinguish the culture. (1978) was the Freedom of Religion Act. My parents were born in 1973 and 1974. This means that they were born, if someone found out that they were Native American, they could walk up to them on the street and just shoot them point blank in the head and walk away, and they would not be charged with murder. There would be no further actions taken against them for killing a Native American. They would actually, if they took their scalps up to the University of Michigan, they could get money, bounty on Native Americans' head. Just recently, the University of Michigan has let people go repatriate the bones that are underneath the science building there, and that has happened in the last month. I was the first one of my family, was the first generation of my family to be born without having this fear. My grandfather, Jerry White Pigeon, was a Vietnam combat vet. 216 airdrops where people were lucky to survive 15. And when he came home from fighting for his country, going through all of that turmoil, he came home, came to his children, and his neighbor came out with a shotgun because his children were going over into his yard and playing with their dogs. He came out with a shotgun, loaded it, pointed it right at him, and he couldn't do anything. He couldn't do one thing to protect his family, or else his entire family would have been killed. Now imagine what that would do to a family. Even though Christopher Columbus did all of this and his actions were expressed this way, and it was continued throughout the, just up to this day still, there's still oppression. You can see that there's still a lot of us here, a lot of Native Americans here, and we're still practicing and participating in our culture and our beliefs. And I would just like to say thank you for listening to me. I'm done. Thank you.
Okay.